1. A whisper from another you. Have you ever paused in the middle of your day, heart beating a little faster because something you can't quite explain made you feel like you weren't alone? Maybe it was a strange pull in your chest, a gut feeling nudging you to turn left instead of right, or perhaps a thought crossed your mind that felt too wise, too sudden, almost like it didn't come from you. What if it didn't? Imagine this. Somewhere in another reality, another version of you is living a different life. Maybe they made the choice you didn't. Maybe they said yes where you said no. That version of you, your parallel self, has seen things, felt things, learned things you haven't yet. And sometimes, just sometimes, they try to reach you, not with words, but with nudges, hunches, dreams that leave you shaken, or moments of déjà vu that make your skin prickle. These aren't accidents. They're whispers, soft messages from another you, hoping to guide you, comfort you, or warn you. This might sound like science fiction, but it's a concept that both ancient spiritual traditions and modern quantum theories are beginning to agree on. We exist in more than one timeline, and each version of us is deeply connected through something bigger than time, consciousness. So the next time your intuition speaks up, listen closely. It might not just be your inner voice. Could be a part of you from another world reaching out because they know what's ahead, and they care. 2. A universe full of you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a vast, endless universe. One where every possible version of your life is playing out. Somewhere, there's a you who followed that dream. Another you who walked away from a toxic relationship. Yet another who never took that risk and wonders what might have been. Sounds wild, right? But both spirituality and science whisper the same truth. This isn't just fantasy. Quantum physics tells us that reality isn't fixed. It's a sea of infinite possibilities. At the tiniest level of existence, particles can be in many places at once until we observe them. That means every decision you could have made, every road you might have taken, still exists somewhere. And with it, a version of you who made that choice. In spiritual teachings, this idea takes on an even deeper meaning. It's said that with each thought, each intention, a new thread of reality is spun. A timeline where that energy unfolds into something real. That means every time you choose love over fear, peace over chaos, or hope over despair, you're not just changing your day, you're shifting your entire path. You're tuning in to a different frequency. Each parallel version of you carries a story, some filled with joy, others marked by struggle. But all of them are connected. All of them are you. And they're not separated by walls, but by vibrations, subtle frequencies of thought, feeling, and energy. So what if you could tap into that connection? What if the version of you who has already overcome today's challenges could send back a little guidance? What if the happiest, most fulfilled version of yourself was trying to show you how to get there? These aren't just questions, they're invitations. To listen, to feel, to open your heart to something much bigger than what you see. The universe isn't just out there. It's in you. All of you. 3. Are they trying to reach you? Have you ever paused in the middle of your day, maybe walking down a street or sitting alone with your thoughts, and suddenly felt like something was off? Not wrong, just strangely familiar. The feeling, a flicker, like you've already been there before. Like you're remembering something that hasn't even happened yet. That fleeting moment, that could be more than just déjà vu. It might be a message. Many believe that these tiny ripples in your awareness, those chills down your spine, the pull of a place you've never visited, or the feeling that you're being gently nudged by something unseen, are signs. Signs that a version of you living in another reality is trying to get through. And then there are the synchronicities. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they suddenly call. You keep seeing the same number, 111, 333, 777, everywhere you look. You're thinking about making a bold life change, and then suddenly that exact word, symbol, or phrase shows up in a song, on a billboard, or in a stranger's conversation. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if it's not? What if it's a version of you? One who already made that leap, one who's already living the life you dream of, reaching across timelines to guide you. Think of these signs as gentle whispers from a parallel self. They're not loud. They don't demand. But they show up in patterns, in nudges, in perfectly timed moments that seem too aligned to ignore. Maybe you're not imagining it. Maybe you're remembering. And maybe, just maybe, you're being invited to listen a little closer. Because the path you've been sensing, someone you from another life is already walking it. And they just might be holding out their hand, waiting for you to join them. 4. Dreams from another life. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt too real? The kind that lingers long after you open your eyes? Maybe you were walking through a city you've never visited, but somehow every corner felt familiar. Or perhaps you met someone in your dream, a stranger, yet your heart swore you'd known them forever. What if those dreams weren't dreams at all? What if they were glimpses into another version of you, living out an entirely different reality? You see, dreams have always been seen as portals to the subconscious. But many believe they're more than that. They're windows, thin, flickering windows into parallel lives. And when the dream is vivid, emotionally intense, or deeply immersive, that window might be wide open. It's as if, while your physical body sleeps, your consciousness takes a journey to visit a version of you who's already walking a different path. Maybe it's the life you long for. Maybe it's one you've never even imagined. And then there's lucid dreaming. When you suddenly realize, I'm dreaming, and can shape the world around you. That's not just awareness. That's power. That's you stepping through the veil and saying hello to another you. In those moments, pay attention. The colors, the sounds, the people, the emotions you feel. They might be more than dream logic. They might be messages. Is there something calling to you? A lifestyle, a career, a relationship, a version of yourself that feels so real it aches? That version might already exist in a different thread of the universe. And your dream is the bridge. Don't dismiss those dreams. Sit with them, reflect, write them down, because your sleeping mind might be showing you who you're capable of becoming. And the more you listen, the clearer the message becomes. Maybe your dreams are not fantasy at all. Maybe they're a memory from another life you're being invited to remember. 5. When you feel like you don't belong. Have you ever found yourself in a familiar place? Maybe at home, or in a room full of people, and suddenly felt out of sync, like you didn't quite belong there? It's a strange sensation, isn't it? One moment, everything is normal, and the next, you feel like you've stepped out of time, like something is off, almost as if you're on the edge of something, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It can be unsettling, even a little disorienting. But what if that feeling isn't a sign that something's wrong? What if, instead, it's a message from a parallel version of yourself? In those moments, when reality seems to shift just a little, it could be that you're tuning into another version of you. A version who's living a different life, one that's not quite aligned with the path you're walking right now. It's as if, for a brief moment, you've touched a reality where things are slightly different, where your choices led you down another road. Think about it. What if that sudden feeling of disconnection is simply the barriers between your timelines thinning, allowing you to glimpse another reality where a version of you made different decisions? A version of you who's living in harmony, thriving in a way you're still reaching for. It's like a subtle invitation, a chance to reflect on where you are and where you could be if you chose a different path. It's not about regret or longing. It's about seeing the possibility. It's a whisper from another version of yourself, calling you to consider the choices that might bring you closer to your ideal life. When you feel this sense of being out of place, don't dismiss it. Lean in. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? What can I learn from the version of me living in this different reality? Because sometimes, the moments when you feel most disconnected from your current life are the ones that hold the greatest potential for growth. 6. The power of intuition. Have you ever had a gut feeling that you just couldn't explain? You know, the one, the sudden urge to act, or the deep inner knowing that something is right or wrong, even when the facts don't seem to add up. It's almost like an invisible nudge, guiding you toward something or away from it. That feeling, that voice, it's called intuition. And what if it wasn't just your inner voice speaking? What if it was a message from another version of you? A version of yourself who's already lived through the decision you're facing, who's already taken the steps you're about to take. Imagine this, a version of you in another reality, one who made the decision you're contemplating right now. Perhaps they took the risk, moved to a new city, changed careers, or said yes to a new opportunity. And in that version of your life, things turned out well, maybe even better than expected. Now, that version of you is reaching out across the veil, using your intuition as a channel. It's like a whisper, a guiding force that compels you to trust your instincts, to take that leap of faith. Even if it doesn't make sense in the moment, it's a signal to go for it. Trust the process. Sometimes, these intuitive nudges feel so strong. It's as if they're pulling you towards something that you can't quite explain. It's not logic, not reasoning, but pure, unexplainable certainty. That's your parallel self speaking to you, offering wisdom from a version of your life that's already unfolded in a beautiful way. So, the next time you feel that inner pull when you're faced with a decision and can't quite put your finger on why you feel a certain way, remember this: you might not just be listening to your own thoughts. You might be hearing the whispers of a parallel you, guiding you toward your true purpose. 7. Sudden changes in behavior. Have you ever noticed yourself acting differently? Almost like you've suddenly become someone else, but without any clear explanation? One day you might wake up and find that you're interested in a new hobby, or perhaps you feel an urge to change your daily routine. Maybe you start speaking or thinking in a way that feels unfamiliar to you. It's as though your old self has been replaced by someone new, someone with different habits, ideas, or even goals. Can be surprising, even a little unsettling. But what if those changes weren't just random? What if they were signs that a parallel version of you was starting to influence your life? A version of you who's already embraced these new habits, interests, or changes and is now gently guiding you in the same direction. Imagine this: there's a version of you living in another reality, one where they've made decisions you're still considering. Maybe they've already adopted those new habits, or perhaps they've embraced a new way of thinking that brings them peace and success. And now, that version of you is reaching out, sharing those behaviors and energies with you, nudging you to integrate these positive changes into your life. At first, it might seem like an impulsive shift. You might not understand why you're suddenly drawn to something new. But over time, you begin to realize that these changes aren't random at all. They are the result of a deeper connection with your parallel self, offering you a new perspective on how to move forward. When you start acting in ways that don't quite feel like your old self, instead of questioning it, embrace it. This is your opportunity to grow, to step into a new version of yourself. Trust that these changes are not only coming from within, but are also being gently guided by another version of you, one who's already living the life you desire. 8. Raising your vibration to align with your parallel versions. Have you ever felt that some days you're just in the zone? Everything flows effortlessly. Your thoughts, your actions, and even your emotions seem perfectly aligned. And then, on other days, you feel disconnected, stuck in a loop of negative thoughts and energy that feels harder to shake off. What if I told you that the key to unlocking a more aligned, fulfilling life lies in something so simple yet incredibly powerful: your vibration? It's the energy you radiate every single day. And just like a radio, when you tune your frequency, you can align with the version of you that's living the life you want. Think of it like this: every version of yourself, whether it's living in abundance, peace, or joy, has its own frequency. If you want to connect with that version of you, the one who's already living the life you desire, you need to raise your vibration to match theirs. This isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about tuning into the energy that already exists within you. Now, how do you do that? It starts with small, intentional practices. Gratitude, for example. When you start your day by focusing on what you're thankful for, you instantly raise your vibration. You're shifting your energy from lack to abundance. The more you do this, the more you naturally start attracting positive experiences that align with your highest potential. Forgiveness is another powerful tool. Letting go of past hurts and resentment frees up your energy, allowing you to align with a higher, more peaceful version of yourself. And don't forget compassion, both for yourself and others. This raises your frequency, helping you connect with your higher self and, ultimately, your parallel versions. As you continue to practice these habits daily, gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, you'll notice a shift. The world around you will begin to reflect the vibrational energy you're emitting, bringing you closer to the version of you who's already living in harmony with the universe. With every shift in your energy, you move closer to the life you've always dreamed of. 9. Self-awareness and intuition, the key to understanding signs. Have you ever experienced a sudden moment of clarity where you just knew something without understanding exactly why? It's that quiet inner voice that guides you when logic falls short. That feeling, that deep knowing, is your intuition, a powerful tool that can help you navigate the signs and messages your parallel versions are sending you. But here's the thing. To truly understand these messages, you need to be tuned into yourself. You need to cultivate self-awareness. It's easy to get swept up in the noise of everyday life, to lose touch with your own thoughts and emotions. But when you take the time to pause and reflect, you begin to notice subtle shifts in your feelings, your desires, and even your reactions. Think back to a time when you felt pulled toward a decision or a path you didn't fully understand. Maybe it was a new opportunity, a new relationship, or a sudden shift in your routine. You might have felt a bit uncertain, but deep down you knew it was the right choice. That was your intuition guiding you. And chances are, it wasn't just you, your parallel self, living in a reality where this choice has already been made, might have sent you that signal. Self-awareness helps you recognize when these intuitive nudges occur. It allows you to reflect on your thoughts and feelings in a way that doesn't judge or rush. Instead, you simply observe. The more you practice self-awareness, the more clearly you'll be able to interpret the signs and messages from your parallel versions. You might start noticing patterns, recurring dreams, flashes of déjà vu, or even sudden shifts in behavior. These aren't just coincidences. They're messages waiting for you to decode. The key to unlocking their meaning is trusting yourself, your intuition, and your ability to understand the subtle language of your own soul. As you grow in self-awareness, you'll begin to notice how these messages are woven into the fabric of your life. And, over time, you'll learn to trust the signs and let them guide you toward a deeper, more aligned version of yourself. 10. Integrating the messages from your parallel versions. When you start receiving signs from your parallel selves, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of it all. The recurring dreams, the sudden intuitions, the synchronicities. They can feel like whispers from the universe, calling you toward a new path. But here's the key. The real magic happens when you integrate these messages into your daily life. It's not about just acknowledging the signs. It's about letting them guide your decisions, actions, and mindset. When you feel drawn to something, whether it's a new hobby, a career shift, or a change in perspective, it's important to trust that this guidance comes from a version of you who has already walked that path. By aligning with these messages, you begin to step into a life that's more authentic, more aligned with who you truly are. But integration takes time. It's about making small, intentional changes one step at a time. As you begin to apply what you've learned from your parallel selves, you'll notice a shift in your reality. What once felt uncertain or out of reach starts to become possible. And with each step, you move closer to the highest version of yourself. Remember, this journey is yours to shape. Trust the messages, honor your intuition, and allow these signs to lead you. You're not just connecting with your parallel selves. You're transforming your life, unlocking the potential that's always been within you. And as you do, you'll find that the life you desire is already waiting for you, just beyond the horizon.